So here constitution ye di juma e okrom ha are famously known as the 1992 constitution. Demonstrations, protestations, remonstrations, and those are legitimate political tools. And I said democratic tools. We are dissatisfied with anything going on within the democratic sector. Me, I employ to register your displeasure. And the demonstration I've always maintained say even if the cause is foolish, because it's democratically you find saying endorsed tools people can employ within a democracy. Allow people to demonstrate freely because that is their constitutional right. A source from the constitution, and that particular right must never be suppressed. So I was very happy when the IGP cleared them, and the who's Attorney General, so the state Babontin said they are free to go. And you come back to what we've been experiencing in the last 8 years. The president of the day, now President Akufo-Addo, or by year popular in this country, the gentleman who rose to political prominence through demonstration, kumi prekon, rieme prekon, sheme prekon, demonstration, and ODG. But surprisingly, under him as the commander-in-chief of the Ghana Armed Forces, we saw how people were assaulted. Journalists, individuals. Oliver, you say wakutu police for khaki. And then young people of this country were so peeved about the turn of event in terms of Galamsey activity. Taking the bull by the horn, decided, oh, this is our country, this is our future. Demonstration. These young people were arrested. They were detained and denied bail. It took another demonstration, a whole lot of public advocacy, and sana issue, Ni was part of the people.
That's true.
Oliver and other people were assaulted because they demonstrated. And then Afenyo Markin and co had their free ride, and they did a demonstration across the length and breadth of this country, walk all the way to the presidency, and the chief of staff, deputy chief of staff, approached them and even spoke to them. And you be a you click your mind back during the last 8 years.
I see.
Because we lived in a country demonstration by a no-go area. But then the same bunch of individuals, who said there is the need to us to do demonstration. Fine, I respect that, and that is it. And again, Afenyo Markin had a brush or an encounter with a police officer. The gentleman in question is not just an ordinary person. He's the minority leader of parliament. According to him, he's a lawyer. And then,
according to him,
he's a lawyer and several other he's a member of parliament. And as for he understands as a police initial police uniform that symbolizes the authority of the state.
With the berets.
You don't assault a police officer in a uniform. But in that video, we saw him in the past, not police if one both demonstrators and as for by a neck or no as a leader. Only member is assaulting a police officer in the presence of everybody. And then the gentleman quickly ran to TV station and said, the police officer rather assaulted him.
That is so shameful.
And then the video came out vindicating the fact he rather assaulted the police officer. I'm expecting it's good that the police has issued a statement that they want it. But you see, some of these issues, yen to me end up brushing outside because as a lawmaker, you are the law. You know the law. You legislate law. You cannot be engaging in this lawless act to the extent of attack a police officer in a uniform. This is something I expect condemnation from across board. What is a Ghana Bar Association issue statement? These are a bunch of lawless individuals. They are there political interest and more finding. So the NPP and the Chief Justice, you see, my culture says NPP is a sinking enterprise. It's a party that is diving into the sea. They have no relevance. They've lost their mojo, everything. So now, that's exactly what they are doing. They are on a foolish course. Anything be but this
is a democratic right.
And that is why Mr. T argument. That's all but you see the question is you are not demonstrating in the eyes of your friends saying some bunch of ignorant people. And let people are very much enlightened. Demonstration. They want to know I didn't will demonstrate it. And these are your facts. The fact is somebody has submitted a petition to the president has followed through, submitted same to Council of State has reviewed the petition, and the conclusion is next step of the process has to be activated, and that is exactly what the president has done. Somebody wake up and says the president now breaching constitutional procedures. The question is which procedure and what breaching? Me. Then we rectify it. You are unable to single out a single breacher. Do you think people will take you serious?
I see.
Nobody will take you serious. So you see, politics, you've gotten to a point. I think emotions are taking the larger part of the political discourse. You're politicking in this country, the major part of it has to do with emotions. And emotions, so in this space, our the intellectual table, whenever you go to the intellectual table with emotions, you only expose yourself and tell people how gullible and weak-minded you are. Because at that table, there is no room for emotions. Yeah. The question is fact now what they but to substantiate your argument. And then they have and president for demonstration now. What are the bases? And they always say, oh, John Mahama see or bar. Your friends say obey changes our the judiciary and then now I chief that's in the first place. Nipo mo lose my appointment under John Mahama. Mododo. Oko konfanatia. Now
Professor.
Okofie.
Yeah.
Oko Tamala, Okofie. The Ghana your friends say statistician na kasa o had Okofie. So why are they not demonstrating? Are they no Ghanaians? Why do they have particular interest in the Chief Justice? So it will go to affirm the fact under Akufo-Addo, there was a deliberate attempt to pack the court. In case they exit power, they will be protected. And that's exactly why the MPP has taken this first entrenched position. Fixate on the Chief Justice alone, because there have been a number of people victims under John Mahama. Right. Why are you not speaking for these people? Why the focus is always on the Chief Justice? It affirms the fact that indeed you have a particular interest. And JB, the call to reset the judiciary, that call John Mahama and Kwako. They say resonating with the larger section of Ghanaians, peeved about the sinking image of our judiciary. For me, that is the foundational institution of our democracy. We can lose the judiciary, we can lose the executive and parliament. Yeah. But one entity, very sacred, we cannot afford to do politics with it, is the judiciary. Right. And that is why Ghana for our calling said we need to sanitize this house just to make sure that it works for the people.
Very well.
JB, when this whole Chief Justice issue came up, and GBA way I shall say so issue statement. I was so very surprised because over the years, because in the last 8 years, the atrocities are unleashing on the individuals. Kwanya ya use the court to frustrate people. Kwanya President Akufo-Addo so pack a court. Ekofa known party people are inserting onto the judiciary. The GBA at the time couldn't find their senses to realize that Neymar papa identity the credibility of your judiciary. Appointments nana air course, there was the need. Abra Chief Justice for Krata through Ding, Church and the non-for Ding, and the common President Akufo-Addo said, appoint you to the Supreme Court. GBA could not condemn those statements, and there are several other things air course. And suddenly, if somebody has submitted a petition to the president, and I say, go through the same liar, suddenly this bunch of cowards are once again barking like dog in the public space. They want people to, your friends, respect them. What would the kind of backlash or within your friends saying the media space? Yeah. That is why I'm telling you, next generation you can't threaten people with me a lawyer and no, those things don't move nothing. When you speak, the intellect you display. Okasa, kwanya be faso abekasa ne nsema abeka na manipa wu abrante o a lawyer. Na nyesa lawyer sa akeke because lawyer ne enim lawyer wo. Jebi, wa ponche yira sisia na wo de court enim lawyer be frɛ no. Ana ye frɔ Supreme Court enim lawyer be frɛ na di wachi. So lawyers no mu nyina anya pɛ. That is what you should know. You understand? But you see the kind of standard I set as a person. I think that is what you need to do as your friend is saying as a person. But in this particular situation, the whole thing turned into some kind of a political way. As and for me, that is very shameful. And to say GBA our legitimate grounds nanko mwaba no say the because of ABCD President Mahama afum way and answer wafum way. Then we have a cause to worry. But this is a legal institution, an association of lawyers. speaking to constitutional issues. They are speaking like Sebi, Obi Oye Fundaka na okan law masem because Obi Oye Fundaka na onkan law. But these are lawyers speaking like that. You understand? Because if you are speaking about issues of law, you should be able to premise your argument on law.
Now, before I just want to clarify and emphasize on the Afenyo Markin issue.
Okay.
At the time, Afenyo Markin demonstrated as a member of parliament.
Okay.
He demonstrated as an individual.
Okay.
So he doesn't enjoy any immunity.
Okay.
The police have every right to arrest him rather than inviting him.
No. With the mistake on and say at the spot, you know.
Yes.
They should have arrested him on the spot. But we janu we na there so you cannot arrest him. That is the thing. So that is how ineffective our police and also here to a certain extent. You see, we very often cow them under political intimidation as well. Because an ordinary person assault to a police officer and immediately now much. So why can't we do the same thing? Because we need to strengthen and empower state institutions just to ensure that it doesn't matter who you are, because say are you MP na or this you need to arrest that person and prove to him that he's not above the law. You understand? You don't allow him to go home and chest out, do radio, TV interview. Now, the following day, when you're backlash, I feel the police for that trust statement and I invite him. Who cares about that? I know the day, no. Or China, obisi abontino attack police officer. Because an MP who is supposed to be a lawyer has led the way. And Parliament, so I think that they need to institute certain disciplinary measures within the House. Because you see, your friend saying, as a group beer, a breedy, a trainee criminals, safe haven, breedy this kind of people. Because you see, over the years, Parliament claim say, oh, we are honorable people, but in recent times, the conduct and the behavior of some people within the House, are not only unparliamentary, but this very honorable. That is what I'm saying, is that most of them don't even deserve the prefix honorable. It's very shameful because say obiti Parliament now engaging in some of these things, and you expect the general public to accord you the dignity and the respect you deserve. You are a joker, because when I see you, I will see you for who you are, not because you are MP. We MP until the end. Abraba with the MP ni bayano, and never many power respect. But if you get out there and engage yourself in this kind of lawless actor, I know the day, like any ordinary petty criminal out there, we will see you as a petty criminal, not honorable. So Parliament need to take certain decisive measures to ensure that some of these things and they need to make sure they clamp down on some of these things. Oliver, social media, your friend is saying Parliament, you have a privileges committee.
Yeah, sure.
When a deserved privileges committee more than this gentleman?
Saturday appointment committee. And
exactly by the same Parliament. And I'm saying, Parliament are losing the moral authority and the moral clout to call anybody say you're disrespectful, because the House more or less is becoming like an avenue of contempt. Individuals no mugumna brabo mobono impugn the integrity of people out there. So you should not expect that people respect you for in Nema any way. And for me, that is the problem. So the speaker, our responsibility on country parliamentarians Teteno na ye de sa ne manu hunu amamfo na me ye MP maka said ne Pontius Pilate no mo said ade eche no samba biem a obi be so ne kon ka kire na bra wodi nkwasasem what asem na make no tell people respect ne ye demand from people. You cannot threaten people and say me ye MP nti respect me. And that is why most of these lawyers are also losing their very essence, because in the past, you can't be a lawyer, people are called them that sense of dignity. But in recent times, some come on TV and they speak, and the poverty of intellect they live in their wake. You've seen a couple of lawyers who sit on TV na omudia matem na no me hu say obide ya titi akotena TV so lawyer and na all turn ho asoba. And these are people the GBA will not even find any reason to sanction these people. Say, you belong to a very dignified association. As a member, you cannot misconduct yourself in this manner, and for that particular reason, we are sanctioning you all doing this. You allow all these things to go on. After Asambana go to the other side of the political party, then all of a sudden the GBA comes in and issue a statement. And the statement is a funny one. It's not premised on anything sensible, because Sanka omutimi chire and say, oh, GBA. Ya komra no ma eda ho no ya hu say the President Mahama ye ABC the wafom mra, and for that matter and the president should ye fan saying on turn things around that. Then me ameti hai Never but have defend say yes, asema GBA can not crab because President Mahama Fumembra. But these are lawyers who are supposed to be in the know so far as the law is concerned.
Know better.
Yes, but they are advertising sheer and raw emotions instead of arguing law. In some of them, these are emotional sentiments being expressed. Because none of them has been able to come on TV to tell us exactly what the president what be that? No one say emotional campaign, emotional sentiment in as for no mutugum saaka Kenyan be an association of 5,000 members. Now we know about 52 question them baby no more pass resolution. One kasa organization we a serious organization. But there is no serious organization have from members up to 5,000. 52 never show up. A just organization and kasa no people no no. What lose clout? What lose essence? Because it is not an association of lawyers. A political movement that some people use for a certain parochial interest. And for me, that is what they are.
That shouldn't be so. They contribute to the society.
No, they are supposed to contribute to society. Listen, you know, if you go to other jurisdictions, do you know what people study law to advance the cause of society?
Yes,
in recent time, many of the politicians who are lawyers in our political space, you know what they do? Sometimes you listen to argument on TV and you yourself become more confused than the very people speaking. You understand? But you see, because they are not arguing wisdom, they are not arguing fact, they are not arguing law or evidence, they are arguing emotions based on where you stand across the political divide. And the NDC near NPP near and the direction of the law. We are not arguing in near mass and Nipabete. And for me, some of these things Emma Manfo lose so respect in this country. So the GBA must realize that there is a sharp decline in terms of respect people have for them. And they need to do everything to bring their members apart. We need to become relevant in the eyes of the people. And can some nobody will question them if they've been able to premise their argument on something substantial, argument grounded in law. But and you're speaking raw out of emotions. There is nothing substantial, nothing sensible to be attributed to in Sabna Wokana. What do you expect me to do? And for me, that is the worry.